I think all of you understand that for Deval Patrick and for our campaign, and for those people who worked on this campaign, they understood this, that winning wasn't the point. Clearly losing wasn't the goal. But the point of the election was not to have Deval Patrick become governor. Let's be straight. Deval Patrick doesn't have to become governor of Massachusetts to fulfill a lifelong dream, to cap off a long history of public service, to achieve some goal that validates whatever else he's been doing. This is a guy who fought out of the mean streets of Chicago with teachers that cared about him and a mother that gave him strength, that used that inner strength to succeed when opportunities were put in front of him at Milton Academy and Harvard Law School, that went to Darfur, that went to Coke and Texaco and the corporate boardrooms of America and stood for the things that he thought was important. He helped write the Constitution of South Africa. He was the person who implemented the Americans with Disabilities Act in the Justice Department. He's done so many things that it's not the point of being the governor of Massachusetts is not the point. In fact, what he knew and what he communicated clearly to me and what I attempted to bring forth to the campaign was that Deval Patrick was running because there were things that he felt were important to accomplish. He felt that our healthcare system was a moral disgrace and that people from all over the world come to Massachusetts for healthcare when they're sick, and 500,000 people here can't access that. He felt that our education system was struggling under a crazy quilt system of organization and lack of resources and lack of respect for the professionals that work in there and lack of focus on what was important. He knew that the most important job of the governor was to build a strong and vibrant economy and saw the avenues of alternative and renewable energy as a foundation of the next thing that we had to go forth with, along with biotech. And he understood that those issues were important. He understood for too long under Republican leadership, we've been playing a fiscal shell game by promising people tax cuts of a couple $100 and in their property taxes going up 40%. And then paying $300 to put their kids on the school bus and $400 for the kid to play hockey. And every other fee, fine, and so forth. My most important one that I put on was when Governor Mitt Romney put on a $10 fee to prove you were blind. Thank God they rolled that one back. That fiscal shell game he knew was important to confront. And so therefore, in order to accomplish those things, becoming governor was the best way to accomplish them. And so therefore you had to win. And to some people, that difference there may seem like a semantic point, but it's not. Because if your only goal is to win, then it's a very short, slippery step to win at any cost. And that is not what Deval Patrick was about. Choosing then to understand that that was the goal, to accomplish these things, and getting elected was the way to do it, it was also important that you understood you had to win in a certain way. Like, well, first of all, like winning by 21% would be a good place to start. That was a little bit harder to predict, and honestly, the mandate, and for those of you who were at the inaugural or have seen the speech, know that Deval Patrick clearly seized that mandate that he received on Election Day. But the mandate of a percentage win, no matter how big, can be very fleeting. Because, you know, a couple of Scott Lehigh columns or Frank Phillips stories, and they dismiss, oh, of course he won by 21%. But that mandate is important to build an important, but what's more important than that is on how we ran this campaign was to go to the ground and to build a grassroots organization that is strong and vibrant today and important in achieving those goals, which was the whole point. And so therefore, you don't just have a poll that says you're up. You don't just have a sheet with election results that say you won by 21 points, but you have instead a list of people and their names and their addresses, their phone numbers and their email addresses that are committed to these changes that the governor is looking to put forward. And the important role that all of you played in building that team, and that I hope you will continue to play in maintaining a mandate for the kind of changes that we all work so hard for. In Deval Patrick's speech, and the Boston Globe, for this point, at least got it right the next day when their headline, when they had Deval Patrick standing at the podium positioned in a sea of people, if you remember that headline that said, "We are that change." And that change is so vitally important, and it's not going to come easy, it's not going to be smooth, and it's not going to be one positive step after the other. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be about reorganizing the executive branch of government, taking a look at the streamlining and making more accountable those agencies that we all depend on to accomplish these things. It's going to be about really talking about the fiscal shell game in real ways. You know, we